Hey, I'm Andrea, as you should already know, and as you may or may not tell, I am not here today. So this is a recording for today. The topic I'm going to discuss is civil engineering. And I'm covering this topic because that's the topic I chose to cover today. Hey. Civil engineering is how society organizes itself. It essentially allows for all society to meet essential needs in the most efficient manner. It covers, for example, infrastructure such as sidewalks, roads, sewers, like the placement of essential buildings such as hospitals and schools and city halls. And if it's not done with the maximum integrity, then it can cause devastating consequences. For example, a few examples from here are U.S. In California, a hospital collapsed because the materials used were not fit to hold everything. Was not built to hold everything and meet the requirements of the terrain and the weight of all the people and machines and all the things needed to be in a hospital. In Chicago, a bridge collapsed because it was not ready for them. It was not equipped for the weather circumstances. And in Dallas, houses collapsed because the rebar rusted. Rebar is a sort of steel pole that was put into the houses to hold up houses, and they collapsed, leading to a lot of damage and a lot of injury. And here in Houston Heights, a lot of houses were built without taking into consideration the sewer system and how much it floods, which is a huge problem because, especially in Houston Heights is a location in Houston where a lot of flooding occurs, and it's right next to like downtown Houston, meaning that it's very populated and it can cause a lot of, let's say, grievances, but in reality accidents, just a lot of problems, like just a lot of problems, loss of housing, accidents, injury, just something that no one would ever recommend. Civil engineering is supposed to take care of that, to take that into consideration. And as you can see, like, if you don't have integrity within civil engineering, then it's going to cause a lot of grievances, and it's not going to be good for anyone, and it's going to be bad. In short, it's going to be bad. Civil engineering looks different in different countries. For example, in Great Britain and Japan and France, civil engineering looks more like they organize roads and infrastructure around houses that are already present. So they don't organize it in a grid fashion as they do in the U.S. In the U.S., we fashion housing and buildings around roads, so that it's more efficient and it's easier to get through, in theory. And the sewer system, for example, in the U.S. is for to have a sewer outlet at the end of every street because it rains a lot. And while it also does rain a lot in, for example, France and Great Britain, it doesn't have the same sewer system and it doesn't lead to the same place. The values that we discussed last class, which were making a difference, integrity, loyalty, balance, and courage, they're all necessary to be in the field of civil engineering, or they should be necessary. Anyone that doesn't possess them should not be qualified to be a civil engineer. I am sorry. I'm sorry. The values that I uphold, such as communication, health, balance, teamwork, challenge, these are values that I personally think that can be incorporated into civil engineering. So, for example, like balance. Civil engineering is all about balance. You need precision. You need everything to make sense and be equal for it to work. Civil engineering covers almost everything that we see in our day-to-day lives. Our school, hospitals, the building that you are currently in. Like all this is covered by civil engineering, and it should be taken seriously and taken into consideration as a great place to work. It actually has a pretty great salary. Civil engineering, you can get the degree in, I think, about 4 years. Yeah, you can get the degree in 4 years if going to proper college and considering that you don't fall behind. I'm sorry, I had to say it. And it pays pretty well. If I remember correctly, it was around $100,000 a year. and that's not a base salary. That's more of a, like, after a few years, it's like it's a little shaky. But and that is all I have for today. Thank you for listening and stay tuned. I will see you next week.